Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Feels like I haven't been here for a while, but it's only been a week. But I'm just getting YouTube withdrawals. But thank you so much. Welcome back. This specific video is all about manifestation, how I manifested the life that I want, and how I'm continuing to manifest the life that I want. So let's get into it. I'm gonna give you tips, right? Because you need to know how to manifest the life that you desire. So this is how I manifested everything, and I feel like I might have to break this video down in two because this video is long. But that is exactly what I manifested thus far, and it's still manifesting so much that I'm not really speaking about because it's still happening. That's one thing. So I'm gonna give you the tips right now. One, while it's happening, don't say nothing. Okay, while it is in the works, you don't say anything to anyone. Now, sometimes you feel like, oh, I just want support and I want to tell somebody. Choose one person if you really need to. I have one person that I'm like, okay, so this is in the works, but don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. And you trust that. You have to also trust and know that that person has the most great, good, loving intentions for you. Okay, so that's one. But if you're not 100% aware that that person is going to have great intentions and no evil eye whatsoever, don't even say it. Don't even do it. Just keep it to yourself. You announce it when it's done. And this is what I do. I'm infamous for this. And when I left New York, everybody was like, oh, you said what you're gonna do. So maybe 2 weeks before I moved to Florida, or even a month, when I already knew that it was planned, because I remember I spoke to him in like January, so I knew I was leaving in February. For a fact, my ticket was booked. I started to tell people, hold on, wait, I hate that the camera moves. Hold on, I feel a little. Okay, I started to tell people I might go to Florida. I might, because they would say something like, oh, can you come this, or can you come there? And I'm like, I don't know, I might be in Florida. I might go to Florida. And really, how long? I don't know, I think 2 months. I would like, I don't know, maybe 2 months, maybe. I knew I wasn't gonna come back. Like, I knew I was moving, But that's one tip. Tip number one, keep your mouth short, okay? Tip number two, write it. Now, there's 2 ways that you need to write it. Actually, 3 ways that you need to write it. One, you're going to write it like, this is what I want. With manifestation, I always write manifestation at the top. So guides, know, your spirit guides, you know that this is a manifestation. This isn't a dream, like, because sometimes I write dreams of like when I went to sleep. This isn't a dream. This isn't anything else but a manifestation. This is what I want, right? So I would say like, I want this, I want that. This is what I want, in like a story way. Okay, let me see if I can find something for you that can show you things that would like to happen in 2021 with consideration that the universe may block it for me if it isn't a true, honest blessing. That's one thing that you have to say. Like, for me, this is what I want, but I don't see everything. I'm not the all-seeing eye as of yet, right now in this moment. And so what I may want may not be what I need. And so that's very important to say, this is what I want. However, if it's not in my journey and it's actually going to hurt me, God, please block it, right? But I write it down like a list, and I just write like, I need a car because this does need a car, with parentheses, Tesla, right? And this is just recently, but like just different things that I write down. Successful, great podcast, like writing things down that I really want and saying it like, this is what I want, right? But also writing a story as well behind it. Like, I'll write like, I want this, and this is where I want it. So that's one style of writing. Second style of writing in present moment, like it's yours. So I have this beautiful house and it's so big. It has 7 rooms and kids just run through it all the time. And it has such great energy, and I'm such a great interior designer, and all these major names call me to do their interior design. And I'm just like the top interior designer in United States right now, and it's so amazing. And I flew out the other day because J-Lo needed me for something for her room, and I fixed it and it was beautiful. You speak like that, right? So that's 2. And then the third style is, what's the third style? Oh, I kind of said it. The third style is the book I showed you, right? Yeah. The third, sorry. The third style is repeating it and writing it all over again. So let's say I need more self-love, or no, not I need, it's I have so much self-love. 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 And writing it and writing it and writing it and writing it like over and over and over again. Like writing is the biggest thing. Now also, when you manifest, you can't just manifest physically what you want. Of course, you can manifest a car, you can manifest a house, you can manifest your career. That is beautiful, and you better do it. Don't let anyone make you believe that you shouldn't manifest a car. You shouldn't manifest a BMW or a Tesla. You shouldn't manifest this. No, you should. That's what you want. You should do it. If you want to manifest you being on a private jet, you manifest you being on a private jet. However, don't just manifest the physical and the material. Manifest the mindset that you want. There's so many times where I was broken, crying down, and feeling like I wasn't confident, feeling like I wasn't secure, feeling like I wasn't myself. But I'm writing down, I am the most secure being I've ever known. I am so confident within myself. I am the most confident woman I've ever met in my life, and I love my body, and I'm so sensual with myself, and I respect every single boundary that I have. And to be honest, in that moment, I was someone who didn't know boundaries and didn't know self-discipline. But I'm so disciplined. I have so much boundaries that I respect and I honor. You know what I mean? So not only are you manifesting the physical, but you need to manifest the mental, the spiritual. That is what really needs to be worked on the most. Because if you work on your mental, you work on your self-confidence, and that's what's probably going to get you the Tesla. Because now you have greater communication. Now you can speak with ease, and your mouth, your words, your throat chakra is going to get you what you want. You know what I mean? Communication is going to get you at the highest level, because if you have a business or whatever you have, you need to run it with your mouth, with your communication ability. You can have all of this proof that you do a great job. I can show you, this is my interior design and this is really good. I do a really good job. But if I'm not really communicating with ease and speaking to you with confidence, then you're going to seek my insecurities out right away, and you're not going to want to work with me because I'm not secure in my own work. You know what I mean? So it's very important to manifest that security, that confidence, so that way you can receive that Tesla, that private jet, that, you know what I mean? So yes, like tips, those are the major tips when it comes to writing. Speaking is very important. I have this new affirmation. I wrote it on my calendar. It says, I got it from TikTok. I don't chase, I attract. Hold on. I don't chase, I attract. Everything that is meant for me belongs to me, and everything that is not will fall away. And I say that because I have been, or not anymore, really, thank God, but I've struggled with chasing and not knowing how to attract. I've struggled with that. And so now I've learned, like, I'm not chasing nothing. What am I chasing for? What am I chasing? Oh, I'm attracting, because I am a divine feminine woman who knows her power. I call back my power, and I sit here and I attract what is meant to be in my life. Okay, so that's the affirmation that I've been saying literally every single day. I don't chase, I attract. What belongs to me will simply come to me, and what does not will fall away. So with that being said, that is my tips on manifestation. I had to really give you a long story of everything I manifested so you can believe me, so you can trust me when I tell you I know how to manifest, baby. Like I if there's someone who knows how to manifest, it's me, okay? And this is how I do it. And everything, it works different for everybody, but for me, writing is the way to go. And I'm not gonna lie, lately I have stopped writing because so much things were going on in my life that I haven't been writing. And so I feel, not that I feel the manifestation stopping at all, because it's not. I almost feel like it's slowing down. And I'm like, oh, it's because I haven't been writing about what I need and what I want, and I haven't been really telling the universe. Maybe I tell the universe with my mouth, but when I write, I feel more power when I write. And it's also knowing your own power. What is your power? Is your power writing? Is your power speaking? Is your power thinking? Is your power feeling? What is your power? Because I'm not going to sit here and say, right, that's your power, when that might just be my power. And you get what I'm saying? So know your power first. What is it that you do that is strong? Is your intuition strong? Is your writing strong? Is your feeling strong? Is your mind strong? What is it that if you think of something or you write of something, that something just appears right away into your existence? Find that nick cranny, find that thing, that little knick-knack, and use that. And now continue to manifest and get what you want. For me, it's writing. But for you, it might be thinking or communicating or feeling. Find that, and you will get the life that you need. I really manifested the life that I wanted so bad. Okay. Okay, so it started when I literally was like, I need to go to Florida. I need to go to Florida. I need to go to Florida, right? By the way, I'm going to add different clips and different parts of my life. I'm sure I have some on my phone, but this is not going to be just a video of just me talking about manifestation. I want to show you the proof. You know what I mean? Okay. So I'll start with me being in New York, wanting to come to Florida 2 years ago. I got introduced to Orlando 2 years ago or three years ago when I went to Disney World, and then I saw Orlando was downtown, and I was like, yeah, this is it for me. Like, this is the place I want to be. I knew it. I felt it in my gut, and I knew this was the place for me. You know what I mean? And so when I came back, at that time I was working at a strip club as a waitress, and so I just was stacking my money to come to Florida, saving all of my money, and then COVID hit. And so COVID hit, and then obviously I couldn't work at the strip club anymore, which is the greatest blessing of all time, because when I was working at the strip club, the scarcity mindset, I had such a scarcity mindset, and I really thought, like, I really believed at that time that the nightlife was the only thing I could do. And interior design wasn't even in my thoughts. Like, I always knew I was good at it and I would do my home or whatever, but like, it wasn't even in my thoughts. I really thought that not interior design, I really thought that being the nightlife was my whole entire life, and I was making such good money that I was just like, I'll take all your bullshit because this is all I know. But when COVID hit, it literally wiped away my scarcity mindset of like, okay, well, now you have nothing, right? But I was still okay, and I was still good, and I was still figuring stuff out. And no matter what, even if I was on my last dollar, the next day I wasn't on my last dollar. I somehow ran into money or whatever, and you know what I mean? So I had basically like left because of COVID, or not leave, you know, when we were forced to quarantine or whatever the case was. I realized, wow, I was scared for, what was I scared of? What was I scared of? Basically, it just opened up my eyes and made me realize, like, girl, you can manifest whatever you want. Like, that's when I really learned manifestation. I did not know what manifestation was before the strip club. I promise you, I didn't know. I thought that that's all I knew. I thought that's the only way that I can be financially abundant. That was the only way in my mind. The beauty and manifestation. I started manifesting crazy things. So like, okay, so basically I had applied for unemployment, right? I had applied for unemployment, and unemployment, it denied me. And I was like, all right, fine. And I went months without unemployment in the beginning of COVID. And then I had said, it was during my birthday, right? And I had said something. I said, angels, it's my birthday and I want to see a blue butterfly. That's it. I want to see a blue butterfly. Because now this is when I'm learning about manifestation, right? So I'm like, I want to see a blue butterfly. So if manifestation is real, you have to prove to me. I'm very hard-headed. You have to prove to me. So let me see a blue butterfly, right? So I go to my grandma's house. This is on my birthday, I say this, but I went to my grandma's house. This was like probably 3 days later. And I see this little portrait. I'm gonna go get it. I see this portrait and there's butterflies on it, but I'm not paying attention to it. And my aunt goes, oh, Casey, you know, this was grandma's, my late grandma who passed away. She goes, this was grandma's, and we don't really have room for it. Do you want it? And I looked at it and I go, what? Now let me go show you. I forgot to say that I was saying big blue butterfly, not just blue butterfly, big blue butterfly, right? And this is this is what she gave me 3 days after I said that. And I said, like, look at the iridescent blue that is just shining off this butterfly. So I was like, when I saw that, I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, this is real. This is real. This is real. Okay, I gotta do this, right? Like, I gotta figure it out. And I got to continue manifesting because this is real. And it was just that one thing that made me completely believe that manifestation was real. So now, at this point, I'm a little struggling. I'm struggling because there's no unemployment coming in, right? And I'm working at a restaurant, but I remember like struggling a little bit, and like not doing that good, right? And so I had to pay my school loan, and I was like, I dropped out of school mid-semester, and I had financial aid, and they don't play those games, and I couldn't do it no more. When that clock in me is done and it says it's time for you to go, it's over, I need to leave right now. So I owed about $2,000 in like for college because of the financial aid, because I cut out right in the middle of the semester. You can't do that. Financial aid will charge you right back, you know? So they charged me back $2,000. And there was other things that I was like in debt, my credit card. So I did all the calculations of what I needed to get out of this hole that I was in. And I was like $10,000. And I said, okay. I said, God, I don't know how you're going to do it. But I need $10,000 in a month. I think I said a month. I said, I need $10,000 in a month. I need $10,000 in a month. Thank you. I need $10,000 in a month. This was literally last year, COVID, right in the middle of COVID. And I kept on saying, I need 10K in a month. Then all of a sudden, my mom talks to our neighbor, and she was just like, yeah, you know, Casey got denied. By the way, they call me Casey, my family. So she goes, Casey got denied for unemployment. Can you believe it? Like, that's so crazy. And the neighbor was like, oh no, like my husband got denied too for unemployment, but you can appeal it and they'll give you the back of, you know, like they'll give you the back pay of from COVID started. So I appealed it, right? What did I get in a month? $10,000 from unemployment. So now I'm like, okay, manifestation is the realest thing I've ever known in my whole entire life. So how do I continue to do this, right? Now, this is going on during a time where I am my most vulnerable self. I've never trusted as much as I trusted during this time, and now I've never been so sad, but I've never been so happy. Like, I've been so vulnerable during this time. And let me tell you, I'm also leaving out a certain thing that had happened in my life during this time. I feel like that's for another video, another day. But this broke me open. It cracked me open, what happened. And it really, really, really made me so vulnerable and opened up my eyes. And I became so depressed, but also I feel like I died. I did die. I died, and I came back a new, better me. And so when this happened, I realized, okay, well, I need to be vulnerable. This is what I need. That's my purpose in life. To continue to be vulnerable and to always be as real as I can with you, with me, with anybody that walks my way, right? And so I feel like the reason why the manifestation was happening so quickly, so fast, so easy was because I was giving this beautiful vulnerability to the earth. And I was giving back this energy exchange to the earth. And I still do. And I have a little bit trouble with it still. First off, I've always had trouble being vulnerable. I am vulnerable. And I'm the most vulnerable I've ever really been. However, I don't like to be vulnerable. I will literally cry and just hate the process of being vulnerable, but I still do it. You know what I mean? Because I know that it's the way to go. I know that this is the best way for me to heal, and I have proof of that, you know? And so now I have this $10,000, and I'm like, oh my God, okay, well, I can pay my school, I can pay this, I can pay that, and I can have now money to go to Florida because I used that money. So I saved, I had like $5,000 left for Florida only. And I had this thing, and I was like, I'm going. Okay, so I have my best friend, Vincent. Shout out to you, baby boy. So he's like, this is December. It's December 14th, I believe. And he goes, I'm going to Florida, Orlando, with my, to see my friend who lives out there. And then he goes like, do you want to come? And I'm like, oh yeah, hell yeah, you know what? I want to go to Florida. My goal was to still live in Florida, but it was definitely not to live here now. Like, I was thinking in a year. I was literally in my mind a year. So I go there, right? And I'm like, oh my God, like, I love it again, but hello, I already knew that because I already came here. And I meet that guy that his friend. And I'm like, oh my God, like, this is like perfect. This is like, I like it here. And I saw that the guy had a roommate. So it was like, oh, like, damn. And I kept on thinking, like, maybe I should ask him to, like, if he needs another roommate. But I'm like, I don't want to be too impulsive. I don't even know this guy. Like, this is a friend of a friend. I don't even know him, right? By the time I came back, I was talking to my therapist, and I was like, yeah, like, I love Florida so much. And I told him about the guy. And my therapist goes, why don't you ask him if you could be his roommate? And I was like, I thought that. And I was like, no, it's too much. Like, I can't do that. Like, how are you going to impose on somebody's life asking if you need a roommate, you know? And he was like, Caitlin, it never hurts to ask. The worst thing he could say is no. He'll be in the same position right now. And I'm like, oh, fuck. And I'm like, I know I need to do this. I know. But I don't like rejection, and I don't want to hear no, and I don't, right? And I'm like, you know what, Caitlin, this is the whole part of being vulnerable. This is what you do. So you know what? Ask. I asked him, and he goes, it's so crazy because I was looking for a roommate because the guy that I have a roommate now, I don't want him to be my roommate anymore, blah, 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 blah. So yes. And I'm like, what? And this is January, like literally the beginning of January. And I was like, no, like seriously? And he's like, yeah. He's like, when would you want to move? And I'm like, I don't know. He's like, how about like in December or whatever? I'll be good December. No, I'm sorry. This is January. So it wasn't December. Sorry. This is January. And he goes, how about February? I'm free February. I said, okay, I'm going to book my flight for February. I end up going to Florida February 4th. February 4th, by the way, I that wasn't my plan. That wasn't my plan at all. And at this time, everything is closed in New York. Everything. I was working as a waitress. It is closed. I was also doing part-time in interior design. And that was the thing, because my interior design business was taking off. It was taking off in New York. And I was having clients and doing people's homes. But at the same time, I knew I didn't want to be in New York anymore. And I knew I didn't want to stay in the winter, you know? So I was like, all right, I'm going to just go. And I went. Of course, I fell in love with it all over again. After 1 month of being there, by the way, I was kind of under the impression that I would be there for like 6 months, kind of, because of just kind of the thought that I had, right? Because of conversations or whatever. And February, so by March, he literally told me, is it okay if you, like, if I give you 60 days for you to start looking for your place and get your own place? And that would literally be me moving out and moving into somewhere by May 1st. And I'm like, how do you want me? Like, I was literally like, how? Like, how am I gonna do that? How am I gonna do that? And I remember feeling so hurt. I feel, I know I have the, should I read it? All right, I'll read it. Let me see. But what did I do wrong? Like, you know, that's what I was feeling. Like, what did I do wrong? What did I do? I don't understand what I did wrong that I can't stay. Like, you made me believe a certain thing. And we had a conversation about it or whatever. And he basically said, like, it's nothing that you did wrong. You're like a really good roommate. Like, you clean, blah, blah, blah. I just realized that I really want my alone space. And I've always had a roommate. And he had his own house, but he always had roommates. He's like, I always had a roommate, and I realized that I really need my alone space, my alone time. I said, okay, I can totally respect it. But of course, I'm like, fuck, like, what am I gonna do? I'm trying to think if I can, yep, I found it. Hold on, I wanna cover the name. I found it, so I'm gonna read it, okay? Woof, I just finished all my for today. I was waiting till you came back home, but I'm seeing you're not home again. So I'm like, let me just write to her, because damn, our schedules are not in synchrony at all. I truly appreciate you and your friendship, and very happy that my friend brought you into my life. But as I first talked with you over the phone before I moved in, I'm ready to live alone and not have roommates. I was and am more than happy to help you out so you could get your own place. But since complications occurred, I'm seeing this arrangement becoming too permanent, which is something I do not wish. Do you think 6 weeks is enough time to figure out housing arrangements? And I just said, yes, my love, 6 weeks is fine, right? Now for me, I was like, how I couldn't understand how, because I was, it's not that I was under the impression, I was told that I would stay there longer, and I was told that, you know, I was told. So it's different of being under the impression and being told something. So I know I was told that I was gonna stay there longer, but I was like, you know what? Whatever. And I literally was talking to myself. Of course, I cried when I saw the message. I was hysterically crying, because I was like, what am I going to do? Thank God for savings. Thank God. But I was literally crying. And I was just hysterically crying, right? And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I haven't lived here longer than a month, right? And now he's giving me 2 months, which is great. However, how am I gonna get in an apartment without any, like, proof of residence in Florida, or, you know what I mean? Like, this is crazy. Like, and they want, they probably would want pay stubs, but the job that I was working at was off the books, and it was a whole bunch of stuff, right? And I'm like, oh my God. And then I had my therapist in my ear. What's the worst that could happen? You just go back to New York. Yeah, it might hurt the ego, but that's okay, right? And I'm like, damn it. And now I remember like 2 days later, I was going back in my journal, and I always do that. Go back in my journal and I reread. And so he told me this. Hold on, let me go back. He told me this. This was on March 16th. I moved there February 4th. So I lived there literally a month, right? A month and a few days, or 10 days, whatever. And so he's saying you have 6 weeks, which is literally, he ended up giving me 2 months. So I was like, okay, so when do you want me to leave? He's like, May 1st, right? Cool. I wrote in my journal, I highlighted it, right? I want my house by May 1st, I want my house by May 1st, living in, deal signed, moved in by May 1st. That's what I wrote. And so I saw that 2 days later, 2 days later while I'm looking for apartments, and I was like, oh my God, it says May 1st. That's when this man wants me out of his house, right? And I'm like, yo, okay. So it gave me like this boost of confidence of like, all right, that means that I'm gonna get it because I've asked for it. And I can't be mad that the universe is giving me something that I've asked for. But I don't know how I'm gonna get it. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna get this house, right? So I'm looking all over Orlando for reasonable rent. And I'm looking for studio. This is a studio. I'm looking for studios, right? And basically, excuse me, I burped and it's garlicky. Ew, I make garlic bread. But I'm looking for, what was I saying? Oh, for a studio apartment. And I'm like, I'm not paying more than $1,000, right? I'm not paying more than $1,000 because no. Or like 1,100 was like my most. I'm not gonna sit here and pay more than that. Because I've like, you know, like I just moved here and I'm like, no. So I'm starting to look at places, and then I literally went to like the west side where it's like, right? And it was like $900 to move into a 1-bedroom, which was, it looked nice in the inside, but the moment you stepped out, it was like, and the reviews were not good. Like you can go on like, you know, Zillow or whatever, you can see how like the reviews are about the place, and it was just about cucarachas and rodents and hearing like neighbors yell and scream, and the pool wasn't working and the gate doesn't close and all this stuff. And I was like, I can't live here, right? So I was like, I don't know where I want to live. Like, then I found this place here, and it was kind of far. It's far from downtown. It's like 20 minutes away. Far, but not far. Not far in Florida, but like kind of far, you know, 20 minutes drive. So I was like, okay, let me just see, but I don't have a car. So I took an Uber here, right? So I take an Uber here, and basically we're like figuring it out, and she's just like, that was scary, but that's the ice. But basically she was like, yeah, like this seems like it'll work out, like it shouldn't be a problem. And I was like, oh, okay. And then 2 weeks later, problems occurred, and she told me about the problems and whatever, and I was under the impression that there was no way that I could get this apartment. And I was like, damn, right? Like, this was too good to be true. Like, it was a gated community, 2 pools, a gym, basketball court, volleyball court, soccer court, and a trail and a lake. Like, what? Like, that's beautiful, right? But I was like, okay, too good to be true. And then 2 weeks, and 2 weeks before May 1st, by the way, I ended up finding on the same west side area that I was saying that I didn't want to move to. I ended up finding another studio that was a backup that I knew I would get like this. That was, I think, almost the same price, but a little less, a little lower than this one. But it was in the residential side where, so it's like, you know, it's the hood, but it's houses, like, you know what I mean? People have houses, so it was a residential side rather than apartments. It was a little different, and it felt a little safer. And there was kids in the ice cream truck. It felt safer, but definitely still like a neighborhood that you don't want to mess with. Like the Florida neighborhoods are different from New York. Like, it feels almost like you're in a different country almost. Like, I know that sounds weird, but it's like they ain't nothing to play with. right? And so I had that as my backup. Like, you know what? Whatever. If I gotta be here, I gotta be here. I was raised in a struggle. I know how to struggle if I need to, you know? So whatever. So I had that in my backup, and literally 2 weeks, not even, I think it was like a week and a half before May 1st, they said, oh my God, she called me and she goes, you don't understand how I've never been so happy to tell someone this news, but you got the apartment. Like, I've never been so happy to tell someone that, because she knew the struggle. And I was like, I was so happy. I was like, God, you answered my prayers. Like, thank you. And it was teaching me trust, because I was breaking down. Like, I was breaking down, but I was like, trust. Trust. And if it's not yours, it wasn't meant to be yours. Just trust the process, baby girl. And I trusted it, and it was mine. And it's so big. Like, my apartment is, you guys seen it. It's so big. It's not a regular studio. And the other studio was literally tiny. Like, this was like my bedroom area, and that was the kitchen, and there was like the tiniest living room. Like, it was so tiny. So Mexico and Colombia. When I tell you that was crazy, first off, I wrote right here in my 12 New Year wishes 2021. I wrote this on New Year's. On my, it's highlighted. You can see Colombia. I wrote this on New Year's of 2021. I said, travel all the time with no problems. And it's like Spain, France, Italy, Greece, Haiti, Colombia. Right? Let me explain first how that happened. Okay, so on my birthday, June 25th, I was in Miami, and my best friend and my sister came with me. Best friends, Yave, from high school. And basically, I had plans to go to Bahamas, and it did not work. Honey, it did not work. But everything happened exactly in divine, exactly how it needed to. And I was at my most vulnerable self, healed, cried it out. I cried like a little baby on my birthday. I cried my whole birthday. They say if you don't cry on your birthday, then was it really your birthday? No. I cried like literally the whole day, and I was like, I don't want to go to dinner, I don't want to go this, I don't want to go that, I miss Bahamas, fuck that, right? I was so sad, and I literally missed out on a lot of money. Like, I lost a lot of money because I paid for for Bahamas. I lost that money. But I remember saying to myself, I was in the car alone, and I said it out loud to myself. I said, God, I know I paid for something. I know my energy and my money went somewhere. I just don't know where. And I know I'm not going to Bahamas, and I know I'm not going to get this money back. But I know I put the energy out there. So I know that you're going to give me something back. I'll just be patient. I know I'm not supposed to know what, and I know it's not Bahamas. And I said this out loud. I wish I recorded it. I literally said, I know I paid for something. I just don't know what I paid for. Okay? Then, literally, I come back home. My mom calls me, and she's like, baby. And I'm like, what? And she's like, how she ran into some money or whatever, and that she wants to take care of me and take me on a trip. And I was like, what? First it was, if you guys saw it, first it was freaking Aruba, then it was Turks and Caicos, then it ended up being Mexico last minute. But she had paid for that trip, and I was like, oh my God, it was a surprise, right? So mind you, no money is coming out of my pocket. So I'm like, oh my God, this is the money that paid for this. Like, I asked, like, what? Okay, right? And I went, and it was such a good time with my mom. A healing moment, beautiful moment, just an amazing time, right? Got really cute tans. Came back. Literally, in that week, I get a call from my best friend, Yave. And she's like, hey, bitch, whatever, hi. She was like, so for my birthday, and her birthday is September 5th, she's like, for my birthday, we were supposed to go to, like, she was saying how she was supposed to go to Puerto Rico, but Puerto Rico is like a dub now because of whatever reasons. But she's like, you know what, I want to go to Colombia. That's where my family's at. And she's like, I'll pay for you, because I paid for her in Miami. So she's like, I'll pay for you and you're coming. And I was like, wait, what? This was 2 days before we were leaving. 2 days. And I had been 2 days. No, not even. Yes, it's okay. So I had just came back from Mexico and we were leaving in 2 days. Okay, so it was the same day I came back from Mexico, and she's like, yeah, just letting you know we're going to Colombia. Like, I already booked your ticket. And I said, how'd you book my ticket? She's like, well, you sent me your passport at one time, blah, blah, blah. So she booked my ticket, and I was like, like, not only, like, I thought the one trip was good. Like, I thought going to Mexico was what I paid for, but also it's Colombia. Like, what? And that trip was amazing. Like, you didn't even really see all of it in the video. Like, I didn't really capture everything because I wanted to capture the video and capture as much as Colombia as I can authentically, but I also wanted to be in the moment. So there was a lot of things that I didn't capture of just being in the moment, eating the food, being at the restaurants, petting cows and horses and chasing after chickens, trying to catch them with little Jacob, Yahweh's son, and not catching them because they're really fast. Like, you know, just different fun, beautiful things. And I'm going back to Colombia. Like, I'm going back to Colombia because, oh my God, like, so great. Like, I would live there, for real. I had trouble going to Mexico when we were supposed to go to Aruba and Turks and Caicos, so I'm gonna have trouble in Colombia. When I tell you, I didn't even need a PCR test to go there. I didn't need a damn thing. It was easy. It was easy, right? So I was like, oh my God. I was on the plane, like, do y'all know that this is crazy? Like, this is insane. So that was one thing, right? Another thing, this is so crazy. Like, you can't make this up. Like, you can't make this up at all. So I was working at a Jamaican restaurant, and I still do back and forth, you know, to fund my life and to fund my business as well. I have some things in the works that I'm not gonna mention just yet, but I do have some things in the works. And you know, you need to have your business, you also need funds. I keep burping garlic. This is so bad, but you need to have funds from, you know, to fund your business. So I was working at this Jamaican restaurant. I still go back and forth. So it's like I am, but I was, you know, working at this Jamaican restaurant, which is so dope, cool, amazing, beautiful people. And I meet Jackie, right? Jackie, if you guys don't know Jackie, she's literally the most beautiful, amazing person. She is me. I'm a Cancer. She's a Scorpio. Literally, like, right? Water signs, emotional, but also vulnerable, but also like cutthroat, but also not, but also sensitive, but also not, you know, like, and it's just crazy. And she's 47 years old. I'm 25, and we are literally the exact person. We have the same exact body shape, like even the same structure of face and the same skin tone, literally act the same. It's the craziest thing. She's just like a mature version of me. I'm not mature, but like, it's just crazy. And I was just like, wow. And we would talk, we have great conversations in the restaurant, and it was just like, wow, like Jackie's dope, you know, like she's super dope. And then I told her, I said, Jackie, so I've been having podcasts in my mind a lot, and I want to start a podcast, and I don't know, maybe that's something that's in the works too. We'll see. But I've been manifesting podcasts, and I was writing it down so many times. Podcast. I want to have a podcast with someone who's similar to me, and blah, 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 who doesn't live far, because I want to come over their house and then go over mine, but I want to trust them. And I literally wrote all this stuff down. Just like, I wrote all these things down, but I'm like, I'm in Florida, and I don't have any friends here. And I felt like, like, now there was no best friend energy out here, you know, whatever. And I met Jackie, and she was cool, and I told her about the podcast. And because I liked the way she was speaking, and I was like, yeah, like, I want to do a podcast about, you know, different things, vulnerability. And she was like, shut up. She's like, I've been wanting to do a podcast. You don't even understand. I've been wanting to do a podcast for years. But she was like, but nobody wants to do them because nobody wants to air their shit out. Like, nobody wants to be really vulnerable. Nobody wants to, like, talk their ish and be real and call themselves out. And I was like, oh my God. That's exact. That's exactly what I want. Like, I don't care. I'm fine sharing whatever story that I have, like, to help anybody, you know? Like, I'll air all of my stuff out. She's like, oh, baby, where you live? And I tell her where I live. And she's like, oh, I live kind of close to there. I live in this area, right? And she goes, what's your address? Mind you, I live in a certain neighborhood, but I live in the border, so I consider it another neighborhood, but it's really, so it's, so it's A and B, right? And it's the borderline of A and B. And I technically live in A, but I consider it B because all the shops are in B. If you're walking, you're literally in B. Like, you know what I mean? And so she said I live in A, but I said I live in B, but technically I live in A, right? So she's like, oh, I live really close. Like, I'll drive you, you know? And I'm like, oh, okay, we'll see, yeah. And she was leaving early. That's why I was like, I want to leave early too. And so she was like, okay, put your address in. I put my address in her phone, and I was like, no. I said, what's your address? That's what it is. I said, what's your address? And she starts saying it. I was like, I have those numbers too. And she goes, you do? I said, yeah, what's the rest? Right? She gives me the same exact address. And I said, you don't live in the same complex as I. There's no way you live in the same complex as I do. And she's like, wait, is it Cortland, blah, 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 blah? And I'm like, yeah. We live in the same, mind you, there's 300 buildings and we live in the same, so not only do you live in the same complex, but there's 300 of these buildings, right? Maybe not 300, I'm the biggest over exaggerator in the world. There's 300 units and maybe 75 to 80 buildings. If I'm also a very over exaggerating person, but it's a huge complex, like, that's for sure. And not only do we live in the same complex, but we live in the same building, and I'm on the first and you're on the third. What? So beyond crazy, like literally crazy. And I was like, okay, well, like, that's insane. Like, that's literally bonkers, right? So it was just, for me, I was like, there's no way. And then from there, we always up and down. Me going up all the time, us talking, just having such intimate conversations. She knows my life, I know hers. Crying. She never cried, I did. But just crying. And because I'm a crier. And like, when I start speaking about myself and being vulnerable, those tears just, right? And just crying and being honest with her about myself and different obstacles that I've been through and in my life. And again, she's 20 years older than me, so she is just so motherly, but at the same time, such a friend and a sister at the same time. I was like, you're like my sister, mom. Like, so beautiful. And we're the same person. Like, she looks at me, she's like, you are Jackie 2.0. Like, you're literally me at 25 years old. And it's so crazy. So this is what I mean when I say manifestation is real, because I've asked for this. Like, I literally asked for someone who I could do a podcast with and everything. And I was like, there's no excuse. You can't say no. I know I would have made every excuse in the book to say no to a podcast. But now it's like, well, the both of you have been wanting to do a podcast for a really long time, and the both of you live in the same building. So now you can't say no. So the podcast will be coming soon. I don't know the exact day. I don't know when, but I will say it is coming soon. So yeah, insane, crazy. So manifestation is real. I just need to tell you that. This video is so long. I think this is the longest video that I have out of all of them, but I just wanted to show you how real this is. And writing, the key is writing. You can speak it, you can say it, and this already is a power, because your words are such a power. But spelling literally casts spells. So when you write it out and you write out what you want, you will have it. And I it's insane how many things I've checked out that I've written, that I've gotten, that is like, it's like ballpark. Like, what even made you like even write that? That was just like outrageous, but I got it. and it's just crazy, you know? Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. This video is just another video of me really being vulnerable and describing to you how like my life has been. And it's just been crazy, and it's ups and it's downs, but I've asked for this, I prayed for this, and it's coming to light, and it's crazy. So thank you.